Hi everyone. Okay, so this lesson we're going to hopefully focus on the following. So all students should be able to set variables from keyboard inputs. Most of us should be able to assign variables from the keyboard input, and a few of us should be able to correct syntax errors. Okay, so we mentioned this word syntax the previous lesson. So teacher, if you pause the video, just ask students what the word syntax means. Okay, so syntax from last lesson we said was the structure of a sentence. Okay, so for example, if we don't put the bracket, or if we don't have open quotes and closing quotes, then it's going to give us a syntax error. So we need to make sure that the structure of our sentence is as the programming language wants. Okay, now. So basically, guys, so let's have a look first. So here, this is the first slide of the presentation. Now, last lesson we looked at how to set variables. Okay, so for example, in here we said, let's say for example, I have a variable called name. Okay, so what I can do here is I can say I'm going to set name to be equal to, let's say Ben. Okay, so here, remember we said that in order to specify that this should be text, we have to put the quotes. If I do this, then it's not going to work. So because it thinks that Ben is another variable. Okay, so we need to make sure that we add quotes in here. Okay, now I can then go ahead and I can print. So we said print was the keyword, and I'm going to print name. So if I run the program, okay, so I'm just going to save it as test. So if I run the program here, we can see that it prints the word Ben. Now, if I don't put the quotes in, and I run the program, okay, it's going to give me an error. Okay, so we can see here that we have an error. It doesn't recognize this name Ben, or Ben is not defined. In other words, there isn't a variable called Ben that it can work with. Okay, so what we do here is we ensure that we have this in quotes like this. Okay, so it can either be single quotes or double quotes, that's fine. Okay guys, so this is where we are at the moment. Now, let's say for example that I wanted to develop the program and I wanted to add a variable from the keyboard. So for example, what I want to do is I want to ask somebody what your name is, and I then want them to type in their name, then I print out the name from the keyboard. So there are a number of ways that we can do this, guys. So here, first of all, I'm going to add the keyword str. Now, this isn't necessary because it does it by default, but it's a good idea to start thinking about how we go about the data types as we assign the values to the variables. So here I'm saying that the type of data that I'm entering is a string. So we said the string was another name for a text. Okay, so here I'm going to say string. Now the keyword input here, okay, forces or asks the user, okay, what is your name? So here, what is your name? Okay, now a common mistake that students make here, a syntax error that they make, is here we have double quotes. Here, students only leave or tend to leave one quote. So make sure that we close the, sorry, not the quotes, double brackets. Okay, guys? So let's run the program and let's see what happens. So if I go to run module, if I click OK, so here it asks me, what is your name? Now I'm going to say that my name is, let's say, Harry. So I push enter. Can you see, now it prints Harry. So it takes the input from the keyboard. It then assigns my input to a variable called name. It then prints the variable name. Okay, so this is how we take inputs from the keyboard. So now we're adding a bit more interactivity to our program. Okay, right guys, I just want to come back to this data type idea. Okay, so for example, let's say that I want the program to ask me, what is your age? Okay, so this is age. So here, I'm not going to use str. Can anyone think, why wouldn't I use str here for age? Okay, the reason, guys, is because age is an integer. Now, this is where the previous lesson or the previous activities theory comes into play. So this is why it's really important that we can recognize our data types. So here I'm saying what I'm taking from the keyboard now, I'm going to convert to an integer, because by default, in other words, automatically, anything I input from a keyboard is automatically a string. So what I need to do here is I need to convert it to an integer. So now I'm going to say that whatever I'm going to input from the keyboard is going to be an integer. So now I'm going to say input from, so this is the instruction to say input from the keyboard. And here I'm going to give it a prompt. In other words, it's going to ask me a question, okay, that I then reply to. So here, what is your age? Okay, we then close this double parenthesis once again. So here, 1, 2 opening, and here we have 2 closing. And here at the end, I'm then going to say, right, I'm just going to say print name and age in here. So let's run the program and let's see what happens. Oh, so mine is over here. So now, guys, it asks me, what is your name? So it runs the programs, okay, in order. Okay, so this is our algorithm here. So it runs the code in order. So here, what is your name? So my name is, let's say, Mr. Hassin. And what is your age? Let's say my age is 55. So if I push enter, now it says Mr. Hassin 55. Okay, guys, that makes sense? Right, so what I'd like you to do now is I'd like you to load the activity worksheet and start the activity worksheet. Now remember, guys, in here I've used the Python IDLE here. Now we've got a number of programs. You can either use Trinket, which is the online editor. You can use this, okay, or you can use PyCharm. So any one of the three is fine. Okay, guys, thank you very much, and off you go.